everybody, it's Dr. Kelly in your next Learn It moment. Now, every single one of us has been in a situation where you've been in a conversation with somebody, and maybe it's a dimly lit room and there's some nice music going on, and you're leaning in off your chair and you're like, you know, and you're just like leaning in and you're like holding on the edge of your seat for every word, and you are told every sense is just a little heightened. You can smell things you haven't smelt before. You can see things. You're hearing, like you're focused in on this person, and time seems to almost stand still. Well, in this section of your Learn It moment, we're going to get in on how you do that over the phone. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Kelly. I used to be a teacher in the toughest classrooms in the worst neighborhoods with the most difficult students. And what I learned there changed everything I thought I knew about content creation and delivery. Over the past 25 years, I've taught thousands of students, both in person and online. And what I can tell you is that effective online engagement is the hardest thing you'll ever do without guidance. So I've dedicated this channel to showing people exactly how to capture attention, hold engagement, and create transformation. Every single part of it. I love learning, I love teaching and making an impact, and that's all you're gonna find right here. All right, let's get into it. So everybody knows what it feels like to be engaged to someone, to be engaged with someone during a conversation. So this is what we're trying to transmit digitally, which is almost impossible. But I'm going to give you 6 things you can do that are going to transform the way that you can actually communicate on a digital medium. Okay, so I want you to write this down because it's really important that you actually start to implement these things. And at the end, I'm going to give you the coolest exercise you're ever going to have. So don't worry, less than 8 minutes, here we go. Number 1, the first thing that you need to do when you're going to create great content is you need to pretend that you're having an intimate conversation with just one person. Like when I'm looking here, I'm pretending that there's somebody right there, like right there behind the phone. And I'm talking just one person. And it's me and it's you. And there's nobody else here. And it's just the two of us. And I really want to get my point home so that you understand the power of connection through a digital media. And when you do that, it will transform the way that you're actually connecting across this medium. So start with having that imagination that somebody is just in the room with you, okay? Because that's absolutely crucial. Number 2, I need you to make eye contact. Now, unless you're doing some like high-end camera angles where you're doing like side shots where I'm talking to the coffee cups over there and then I'm turning back, I mean, you can do that. And sure, okay, that's fine. But the majority of the video, like over 85% of this video, better be me making eye contact with you. So what you really need to do is make sure that the viewers can see you. Unless you're doing like some crazy mask thing. But I don't need that in terms of actually creating engaging and educational content. What I need is for you to be engaged with the people that you're doing that with, and the only way to do that is to get up and close and into it. The further away, the more I feel like I'm not even part of this anymore. I'm teaching out here and I just happen to have a camera filming. Now imagine if I did all of my podcasts, if I did everything, doing it like this, I mean, we could test it, but I can tell you that I've seen it, and when the person is not connected to the camera, it feels different on the other side of it. So I want you to try this and see what kind of results you get. I can almost guarantee they're gonna go up. Okay, the third thing that you need to do when you really wanna create great content is you gotta bring it. I mean, bring it. So 95% of other presenters that I've actually coached through this process, and I mean, we're talking about like world-class presenters here that have done lots of live work. You turn the phone on or the camera on, everything changes. 95% of these guys bring it at like a level 5. And I said, you know, dudette, you need to be at like a level 12 out of 10. You need to be walking the fine line where you almost feel silly. like where you're like, I got too much energy. That's where you want to be. Now, I'm not talking about if you're like, come on, everybody, let's go, there's a fire, everybody, let's go. I'm not talking about that. Very rarely have I seen that. And you know what? If you're out there that far, maybe there's an audience for you as well. But for everybody else, just like you want to be walking that borderline where you feel silly. And I'm telling you, if you're bringing 2 to 3 times the energy you think you should be, it'll be way more impactful. Because the inverse, the majority, and I've done so many CCE credits, continuing education credits, and sometimes they're online, and they're horrible. I cannot stress it strongly enough how horrible they are, because the guy is some professor jargon, and he's like, so class, today we're going to be discussing engagement. Now, I hope you take some notes in this topic, because the skills and theories behind engagement are very practical in the real world. Okay, so if you're still here, kudos to you, because I almost put myself to sleep just now. That is how bad it is. And that is the average energy level that most educational content is being delivered, particularly digital form. So I want you to be up here, not down here. I want you to truly bring it. So whatever your energy is, I want you to double it and try it out and see where you come across. And you're gonna find when you do that, that you get much, much, much better results. Okay, now, here's a couple skills that you're gonna do that will change the way that your content is done. So imagine being on the other side and the presenter says to you, hey, I got a question for you. Your immediate response is, what's the question? Like, people like questions because A, they like to see if they can answer the question, and B, it engages the mind. And it changes somebody from being being passive to being active. We want active participation. So when you start questions, when you're starting to get a little bit long, throw in a question. So, okay guys, how can you use this? Well, you're not gonna find me asking a ton of questions in my videos because A, they're short, but B, because the entire premise of the entire thing is so that how you can make better engaging content. So if you don't know why we do this, that's why we do this. So I'm not asking you how do you use this, you use it to make better content. But you can take this skill and put it into your videos. What kind of questions can you ask that will get people like leaning forward and go, wow, yeah, how can I use this? Where is this applicable in my life? Asking questions will actually activate the person on the other side of your digital media. Okay, so there's 4 great ones. Number 5. Number 5 is fabulous because what I want you to do is I want you to actually make directional statements. Directional statements is a crazy awesome skill if I'm doing a course. So when I teach courses, any of the courses you'll see on LNRiT, I'll be there and I'll probably bring up some graphic and I'll say, okay, everybody, look at this. This is important. And this graphic could have like 2 points on it, right? But you can see it. I want you to write this down. This is really important. As soon as now, some guy is like, maybe he's got a plane in the background because that's what we do, right? Plane in the background, and I say, hey, write this down. This is really important. And notice, I'm not gonna tell you what to write down. I'm gonna point to it on the video. I'm gonna just say, write this down. It's called a directional statement. Directional statements get attention. Doesn't matter if it's on video or live, when you use directional statements, you'll get attention. And that is awesome. All right? And where are we at here? We're at number 5. Oh, bonus. Bonus, this is number 6. The bonus thing that you can do with this is I want you to try very gently telling short stories. Short stories will increase engagement because it makes an emotional connection with your users. Now, that does not give you license to drone on. That gives you direction to say, if you want to put a short story, an analogy in there, it will help to cement your point. But it better correlate. Don't be talking about some story where you were out stargazing, but your information is how to clean an outhouse. Unless, of course, you're like comparing contrast, okay? Okay, so those are 6 awesome things you can do today to make much, much better content. Your action step for today, and do this. Go, go, go and do this. I want you to take your spouse, your partner, your kid, whatever, and put them in a room, just the two of you. Close the door so it's nice and quiet. And I want you to video you teaching or displaying content to the other person. And I want you to get in a conversation about your content. And make sure it's short. Don't make this 35 minutes. Make it like 5-7 minutes. And then I want you to get a little feedback. And then I want you to go into a quiet room by yourself and just teach the phone that same content. And then I want you to watch them back and forth. So even if it's only 3 minutes long, that's probably perfect. You can do this exercise in less than 10 minutes and totally change the way that you present. All right, everybody, go out, do it, get it done. You're gonna love it.